Another day of violence in Damascus. The Syrian capital woke up to twin blasts and ensuing fighting near the military general staff headquarters on Wednesday. The militant group calling itself the Free Syrian Army claimed responsibility for the attack. Press TV correspondent Maya Nasser was at the heart of the violence. Here he is reporting from the site of the blast. Shortly after, he was killed. Maya came under attack by a sniper while he was speaking to us on air. Here are his last moments.
The damage is huge on the Mawin Square, and no further information about the victims yet.
Is the situation, has it calmed down, or is it still taking place? Okay, we've lost Maya, but we're going to try to definitely get him back on the phone.
What happened is that he called me on the phone and he told me that he has no internet connection. Actually, he's finding it hard to send an email to the news room over there in Press TV to tell them that there are clashes taking place. He told me to tell the newsroom over there in Press TV headquarters, and following that telephone call between me and him, in 15 minutes, I got initial news that he was shot by armed groups in the neck, and he was taken to the hospital and he was killed.
Press TV and Al-Alam bureau chief Hussein Mortaza was also injured in the attack and taken to hospital. The tragic killing of Maya is a painful reminder of what happens when regional U.S. allies, including Saudi Arabia and Turkey, arm and support militant insurgents.
Press TV strongly condemns the killing of journalists in battle zones, including the assassination of our own correspondent in Damascus. We hold Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Qatar, who provide militants weapons to kill civilians, military personnel and journalists responsible for the killing of Maya. It's an effort on the parts, we believe, to create a feeling of insecurity among the local population and especially among the journalists.
Press TV says it will pursue the matter of the murder of its journalist and will not let his killers get away with it.
Well, may he rest in peace.
Press TV had the chance to accompany Syrian army forces while clearing Yarmouk refugee camp in Al-Hajar al-Aswad district from insurgents. Operations began when Palestinian refugees of the camp requested for the Syrian army's help to clear the area from the armed groups who reportedly used their camp to launch attacks on governmental buildings and security checkpoints. Battles are very intense, and Syrian officers say they are making their best efforts in order to save civilians' lives. Yet they emphasize on the fact that it's a very difficult task in residential areas, and they say that it's why the armed groups have chosen such places. Situation in Syria is getting worse for international reporters covering the unrest in the country. Touring the area, we were ambushed by a group of militants who opened a massive fire on the transportation vehicle we are using. Injuring Iran's Arabic language news network Al-Alam's bureau chief in Damascus, Mr. Hussein Mortaza. He was later treated in a hospital.
We have been receiving threats since we began our coverage for the Syrian unrest, but they will not be able to silence the truth. While covering the story in Hajar al-Aswad, we were ambushed by an armed group who opened fire at us. A sniper shot me, injuring my legs. However, we are not scared. Whatever they do, we will not be silent. And we will stand by the Syrian army by airing the truth on what's going on.
Syrians say this is the case of not only journalists, yet any civilian who tries to stand up against militants without the cooperation of the local residents.
The Syrian army soldiers are our sons. They are sacrificing their lives to protect us. We pray for their safety and the safety of our leader, President Al-Assad.
Syria has been experiencing unrest since March 2011. Opposition accused the security forces of being behind the killing, but Damascus says armed terrorists are behind the unrest, which is orchestrated by foreigners.
Palestinian refugee camp. This is where Syrian army is chasing foreign-backed armed groups who try to control this area in order to launch attacks against locations for the army. Maya Nasser, Press TV, from Damascus.